Welcome back to the build. I'm just making an exhaust bracket out of an old wheel spacer. I'll explain more. So in a nutshell, that's the mount for the downpipe. I have left enough room to space it out if I need to, just to fine tune it. I am now going to take the downpipe and the turbo back off the car. I need to figure out a spacer solution for the turbo inlet, and there's still a small list of jobs to do to the turbo before I can get it on and start connecting the pipes up. I can now paint this bracket. I can also paint this mount. The next job I need to do on the turbo is extend this bolt by about 12mm. This will mean I have to grind the top off so I can extract the stud. Otherwise it'd be a case of drilling it out. I can leave that one as it is. That's the perfect length to bolt through the mount that I extended. There was no way I was getting just that one stud out with this in place, so I've ground both of them off and I can replace them. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to nut and bolt this bracket rather than weld more studs in. The next issue I have is the diameter of the intake. You can see on the IHI turbo where it's been machined down to fit the group N restrictor. I need it back up to the standard diameter so it fits the intake pipe properly. If I retain the modification that allows us to fit the restrictor, it can be reverted back to being restricted. So what I need is an adapter sleeve that I can screw onto that will bring it up to this diameter. Then it could be round and restricted or restricted. I'm still waiting on some parts to be able to finish off the turbo and exhaust setup. Now I'm going to get the battery cover and the fuel assembly cover back on. Then I can see about making some ducts that feed the air into the back of the car. Before I start making the intake ducts, I need to connect the water lines to the radiator. I also sourced a bung to fit into the bottom of the rad. So that has allowed us to route the water lines. That won't hinder the intake. I now have the prop shaft back. I just need to check it's exactly 80mm shorter, and in theory it should just fit straight on the car. It was 635, so it should be 500. So it should now be 55. So it should be 555mm. That's close enough. I guess ultimately we need to trial fit it on the car. You can see the end that they have shortened. It's barely noticeable and it looks much fresher with a lick of paint. They've also given this end a clean up so it will slide into the gearbox nice and easy. Let's see how bad it is under here. It's been kept pretty clean. Looks pretty good to me. The alignment looks good, as it should, as the only part of the shaft adjusted is this end. Now I'm going to start the tedious task of making the other 3 ducts. Now once I have this side made up, I can take them out and see if they fit on the other side, and then I can just match the lengths. Now you can see why I cut the corner off the battery cover mount. Also, the corner of the cover for the fuel assembly was designed in a way to accommodate these. The flow will not be optimised with this setup as the walls are not particularly smooth. However, I can look at upgrading these if there's an issue with cooling. Next, I'll look at getting the rear windows installed. So firstly, I need to trace a line around the inside of this window that fits the aperture. When I test fitted these previously, a subscriber made a valid point. If I'm using sealant to bond it as well as bolt it to the car, I need to paint the inside of the perspex as well. Otherwise, you'll see the sealant and it won't look as good. Where I marked it, I need to cut a nice smooth line, ideally just through the protective film. However, if it scratches the polycarbonate slightly, it shouldn't matter because that'll be the merge line between the clear perspex and the black, so it shouldn't look horrific. I now believe I have what I need to make the spacer for the turbo inlet, so now I'll see if I can make it. Don't even mention a copper hammer, I know I should be using one. You can see the debris, so that's why I've taped off the inside. It needs to go another 5mm or so, then it should be sat flush down on where it was machined originally. So that's a super tight press fit, which has now brought it out to the standard 63mm inlet. As I said before, this turbo had been modified for a Group N specification restrictor. With this mod, I can simply remove these sleeves, then I can revert it back to the regulation it was designed for. I'm just taking a small amount of the protective film from around the mounting points. This way I can fix the window to the car and leave the film on until I've built the car and avoid unnecessary scratching. the driver's side in. It took a bit of extra time to grind some of the heads of the nuts down so they can fit flush along the rim of the window. So now I'm just going to fit the other side. So I'll let the adhesive dry overnight on the windows, then they should be done. I now have the extended studs for the up pipe for the exhaust. Before I get the turbo installed, I want to connect the steering rack to the column. I have dropped the rack down just to get the pinion on. It's actually easier to take these 4 bolts off than getting underneath the steering column in the car. What I'm doing right now is just checking for notching in the steering. As the column has been extended, but more importantly, it's been lifted up slightly. It's actually changed the angle on the steering joint that goes to the steering column. So I'm just checking there's no stress on that joint and there's no notching. Now I'm going to check the oil lines for the turbo. I'm going to see if I can utilize the lines I already had. However, the gallery is slightly different on the new turbo, so I may have to order some. However, I think the return line should be okay just to bolt straight on. The oil lines are not suitable for the IHI turbo. It makes sense to get everything sorted for the turbo before I put it back in the car. Then I can start mocking up the complete exhaust system. The way the oil lines are going to lay out, I think I'm going to have a slight problem with this mount I've made. I may just have to trim the edge off it. For now, I'm going to move on to something else. If you cast your mind back to around episode 100... You will remember the issue I had with the flocking. It took a hell of a long time, and to be honest, it looks okay, but it could be a lot better. I have decided before I put the windscreen on, I'm going to have one more go. There are a couple of reasons. Now it's winter, the temperature is a lot cooler, so I have a lot more time to work with the material. I should be able to alleviate the light patch issue, which is essentially where the glue is really thin. It's actually starting to show the aluminium behind it. When this dash is in direct sunlight, it's really obvious through the windscreen. It just looks really messy. I think it's a job worthwhile doing before I get the windscreen installed. This will also give me a chance to sort out some of the wiring under the dash, making sure there's nothing colliding with any moving parts. Well, you can imagine how much work that was to take all the adhesive off for the second or third time, I forget now. I'm stuck in 3 minds now. I could get it done professionally, I could try it again myself, or I could actually line it in black suede. I have ordered more flocking material, but it doesn't mean I have to use it, so I'll have a think about it and we'll go from there. That's it for another episode. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about the build, leave them in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you very soon.